Zero Hanger has touchdown for Gather Round. We're in Adelaide, and what a lovely Thursday morning it is to preview some football. Adelaide versus Melbourne to open us up. Now, the Crows started red hot last year to get the Gather Round proceedings underway against Carlton. This year, coming up against an informed Melbourne side and still chasing their first win, the Crows. So I think it's going to be closer than what maybe the form suggests, but I think you'll still have to lean towards the Ds by a couple of kicks. Either way, it's going to be a packed house, and I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome game between two sides that have very high potentials. Moving on to some Friday action, we've got a double-header, one at Norwood and then followed by another at Adelaide Oval. That game at Norwood being between Brisbane and North Melbourne, two clubs surprisingly still trying to chase their first win of the season. You'd think Brisbane has the upper hand and gets the job done by maybe 4 to 5 goals in that one. And then after that, heading over to Adelaide Oval, we'll be there to watch Port Adelaide take on Essendon. Now, the two sides had two very close games last year. I think Port claimed the chocolates in both from a total, lead of just 9 points. We remember that Dan Houston game, of course. A lovely goal from outside 50 after the siren at the MCG. So another packed house, obviously, with a local crowd there. And Essendon certainly will have their backs up against the wall. Now, head to Sydney and West Coast to start Saturday's proceedings. It's going to be another tough slog, you'd think, for the Eagles. They lost to the Swans last year by about 170 points over the SCG. They really just want to be putting up a bit of a fight on neutral territory as well. But the Swans have been one of the form sides of the competition over the opening month. After that, another double header, both at the Adelaide Oval. We'll have Carlton and Freo before the Geelong and the Bulldogs clash. Now, the Freo-Carlton game, again, two sides in great form. And in neither having lost a match so far. I think this one's all going to come down to the Blues forwards versus the Dockers back line. Alex Pearce has probably been the form fullback of the competition so far. And coming up against Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay, it's going to be a very tough ask for Justin Longmuir's rear guard. And you'd suspect that the Blues get that one done. Saturday night, Geelong versus the Western Bulldogs. Another one where I think there's a few areas of the field where this one's really going to be won. Can Geelong's midfield, inexperienced midfield, step up against the star-studded Western Bulldogs engine room? And at the same time, will the Western Bulldogs backline be able to wrestle up against Geelong's key forwards and star forward unit with Liam Jones and some supporting crew there as well? So another tough outing for the Dogs backline, but they have kind of stood tall just enough over the first few rounds. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle Tom Hawkins and Jeremy Cameron. Now, looking into Sunday's proceedings as well. Out at Mount Barker, you've got Gold Coast versus GWS. Two sides that I think we've seen enough of coming off a bye as well. They'll both have some fresh legs, some fresh faces as well for the Gold Coast Suns, but you'd think the GWS Giants get this one done easily enough given the form that they've put forward over their opening 3 games. Following that, over back here at Norwood Oval, Richmond versus St Kilda. Again, Tigers coming off a great win over the Sydney Swans, and Essendon really want to be bouncing back from that loss to the Bombers last week. I think I'll lean toward probably the Saints. They get Max King back, and the Tigers might be without some top names. Once again, with Tom Lynch and Noah Bolter both ruled out for the coming weeks at the very least. And then capping it off, what a game this is going to be. Collingwood versus Hawthorn at Adelaide Oval, the 9th game of the weekend. Jack Ginnivan up against his old side. Collingwood still wanting to show they've got the form. Hawthorn still chasing their first win. I think we'll tip the Pies, but I think it's going to be quite a close contest in the end, maybe by 2 goals, let's say that. Well, that's our predictions here at Gather Round for the weekend ahead. If you've got your own, feel free to comment them below. And if you see us around at all in Adelaide, feel free to say good day.